ridiculous. How can I be so excited of something so ridiculous as a natural aspirated engine with that beautiful sound? It's like sucking in Mother Earth, getting that art of driving experience. It's so, ooh, and then changing the gears, having the experience, ooh. Remember my Cayman T, one of the best spec I ever done. Well, I'm biased, am I? I mean, I was the one that purchased the car brand new, even though exclusive manufacture was closed on the time being. I think I pursued my perfect spec of the Cayman T. Red inner ceiling, white roll cage, the livery motorsport Porsche, and then the Lind chassis, and on top of that, those beautiful HRE wheels, the P104 SC. I mean, the car with the red wheels towards the livery, the lower the aggressiveness the car had, I think that's just perfect, right? So I thought, let's fit those red wheels on my Spyder. So I sent a message or a post on Instagram where I said, okay, what do you think, guys? And I've never, received so many private messages where everybody was afraid I was going to fit the red wheels on my Spyder. But if you follow me on Instagram, then you know
I live on the countryside where, well, let's face it, not much happens. But some days are more intense than others.
because I ended up in discussion with HRE where they told me, well, Janko, I'm not sure if you're fully aware of all the services that we provide to our customers.
Sustainability is to reuse already fabricated wheels. HRE Wheels take responsibility and offer their customers to rebuild used HRE wheels. At arrival, a full inspection ensures the wheels matches HRE high demand of precision and accuracy. It starts with sandblasting to remove the older red color. Then the wheels are tumbled in a ceramic media to polish the wheels, followed by a proper cleaning of the rim. The first step is to spray water and then under high temperature water pressure, deep cleaning. Please pay attention to the details in the wheel design. Powder coating is obviously the last step in the renovation or color change of my R104SC.
Frozen stone clear. I cannot stress enough how happy I am with the selected finish. Remember, my Spyder has the PPF from Expel. It's called Stealth, which brings out that beautiful aluminium lookalike that I really love. AutoShield has made a splendid job with that and putting the PPF on. Still 1 year later, no problem at all with the fitment of the PPF. And with this finish, I think I'm gonna go to the next level in terms of how beautiful this Spyder will look. My father-in-law always told me that Janko, you get what you pay for. In terms of HRE wheels, I think that is so true. The products and the services that they provide are on a top level. Disclaimer, these wheels was given to me for free in the first place, and also the service provided indeed this year. I do have one more thing I want to show you. We are going to make some changes on my Carrera as well. I'm not gonna get too excited here on this video because this is for the future, ladies and gentlemen. The details in this wheel goes beyond, just beyond. If I love the P104 SC, this is one more dimension if possible. And yeah, let's say that I'm gonna go up an inch both in front and rear. And well, that's a coming episode when I tune the 992 just a little bit. In the meantime, let's get that Spyder on the spring wheels and head out for a drive. Well, this is the moment which every car enthusiast around Sweden are waiting for. The suns to start to shine, the darkness to get away, trying to get those beautiful wheels on the road again. I think it's called spring feelings in Sweden, and I cannot stress enough how beautiful it is when all that emotion starts to flow in your veins. So today I'm putting my Spyder down to its new beautiful wheels, and yeah, I have a few surprises for you. Here we are then. My beautiful Spyder has been resting on the top floor for 6 or 7 months. One question like that I get a lot. Well, not in comparison to the question, why does your channel not have more subscribers? Well, that's a much easier question to answer, because it's why haven't you pushed the subscribe button? But how do I preserve the car during the winter? That's a very common question. And I haven't been answering that. And the reason for that is that you will get as many opinions in this matter as there are people on planet Earth. What I generally do, I'm looking at the item to make sure, is it a brand new car, is it a vintage car, and then I make my decision. In the Spyder, a few things was important for me. I release the roof to make sure that I don't have tension in the top. I pop up all the hoods, and then I release the battery and have it on charge during the winter. Those items were extremely important for me. When it comes to oil change, I haven't changed oil, and I'm not sure I'm going to do that again. I'm going to check the oil to make sure if it is clean, beautiful. I have only driven 3,500 kilometers with this car, so I don't think I need to change oil. But that is my opinion. Might change depending on how I've been driving it. Remember, it was the pandemic year 2020. I haven't tracked this car, so it's pretty much brand new. And looking at the ECU, remember the gasoline, that's worth mentioning. Someone say full tank, someone say not full tank. Gasoline of today is fresh, like a 1 liter of milk. It gets bad. And now my light suddenly turns broken here in the middle of the recording. Okay, test, I just tried to turn that light off. Let's see how it works. Where were you? Gasoline. It's fresh. It's like milk, right? If you put it in the fridge too long, it gets old. So generally what I do is then I put this on a wheel. I start to take a long, smooth ride, you know, trying to get that gasoline out of the system, and then I fill up with fresh gasoline. That's what I do anyway. I don't want 1 liter in the tank. I don't want to have full tank. In between, it's where I stand. So another very important thing that I always do is inspection. I touch and feel, make sure that everything touch and feel as it should, and make sure that there are no cracks, you know, looking and feeling. Don't be afraid to touch it and put some muscle into it, because this is a car. You can never have as much strength in your body as you will have driving these cars on a track, for an example. Those are much heavier forces than you could make with your body. So touch everything, make sure that things are still intact. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my thoughts about preserving a car, and the most important, make up your own mind.
Every spring it has the same story. First I have to clean out the garage to be able to put my summer wheels to the ground. It's quite simple, isn't it? Just lower the car and then remove the cover. This time I didn't bother to buy one for my car. This is a very old one from my 996.
Before we fit these beautiful wheels on my Spyder, I need to set the prerequisite, and please remember a few important things. I've been driving the 101 lightweight on my Spyder, which saves me 12.8 kilos in total in comparison to the stock wheels. Also, Cup 2 Track Connect fitted. I cannot stress enough how important the Track Connect has been to me over the past years, understanding how low knowledge I had before I fitted the Track Connect, teaching me, being my race engineer, understanding how I could preserve these tires running third season. The Track Connect has also taught me that on regular B-roads, I never built enough temperature to get that sticky grip that I would like to have. Therefore, the 4S, the Pilot Sport 4S, has always been a preferred option for me when driving on regular roads and B-roads in particular. Therefore, I'm so delighted to fit these tires that I had on my Cayman T on my Spyder. Remember the prerequisites? Both Michelin and HRE has provided me with these products. But why haven't I just took these standard wheels and fitted the PS4? There is a very important aspect to that. Remember, these were red before, and well, we all agreed that red would not match my black and white spec, right? These are ET61 in the front, and the HRE 101 and my 104 is ET50 in the front. Also 8.5 inch wide, 9 inch wide with the HRE fitment that I've made. And I cannot understand why Porsche haven't fit that standard, because the way the car turns in is just beyond. Okay, so if you're going to do one change to your car, change the wheels and tires. So remember, 9 inch in the front and ET50, that's the magic. That's when everything starts to happen. And if you are an unlucky person and you have purchased a GTS 4.0 with that lousy chassis, start with the tires and make sure that you start to build up the performance that that car deserves. Whew. Before I fit these tires, I also need to say that I have purchased a few Swedish innovations that I have been using for 2 years now, and I think it is about time I start to talk about them. I have a good laugh when I look at YouTube videos where people are cleaning their cars and I have 2 to 10 buckets. I dip my, it's a tire process, and it's like, okay, they haven't entered the 20th century. First of all, we all know that AutoShield has put PPF on my vehicle, and I cannot stress enough how good that has been for me when it comes to car care. Because, I have a lot of dust on this. It has been sleeping in the winter for 6 months, and I don't care. I can touch it because it doesn't get scratched. In fact, I just have to take some water and spray it and then dry it, and off you go. And if you have just made a short run in the sun and you have just dust on it, I never use a bucket and shampoo and anything. I just take water and dry it. That's how good it is to have PPF all over the car. I remember last year in July I got a scratch on it. I called AutoShield and he just laughed at me. Truly laughed at me and said, Janko, put the car in the sun, go in, have some lunch, and then go back to it. And I did, and the scratch was gone. So we all know that I work together with AutoShield, but PPF is really the first step to preserve your car. And if you buy the car from an owner that went through to put the PPF from when the car was new, pay some extra dollar for it. Then, 3 years ago, I got acquainted with a Swedish invention called Tearshine. This will make all other brands disappear. They have patented something that I have no idea what it is, but it works, ladies and gentlemen. Shampoo, for an example, car shampoo. I've never used it. Never ever in my entire career. In fact, I went into the kitchen and took the kitchen soap and cleaned my cars. Until Tearshine make a shampoo. What happens is that after you have cleaned it with this shampoo, you leave it, and 50 minutes later it gloss. And if you're not, satisfied with that gloss, before you dry the vehicle, you take the Apex plugs, and then you get high gloss. I'm not sure what he does, but I just spray this 5 or 6 times on each side of the vehicle, and boom, boom, boom. It makes it easier to dry the car, and I get even more gloss. If I want ceramic protection when the car is dry, I just spray 5 times again, and I take a cloth and clean the car dry with this, and boom, I get a ceramic quick coat. I cannot stress enough how this has changed the way I save time and preserve my vehicles. I don't need all the buckets. I only need a proper product, PPF on my car, and it's easy to preserve. If you don't have PPF, go ahead, just use these anyway. Make sure that you spray the car with high pressure to get all the dust and thing off, and then use this product. I cannot stress enough how good it has been. Unfortunately for my international viewers, I'm not sure which countries Tearshine are able to deliver. Disclaimer, they haven't paid me $1 for this. In fact, I buy all my products myself, but you guys have asked me, what do I do when I clean my car? So there it is. So I'm going to take the ceramic protection. I just spray. I just need one spray, guaranteed, because I used about 5 to 6 sprays on the entire car, and this is just a wheel. I take a clean cloth, and then I just use it, and this is it. This is the entire process. Swedish invention. I'm proud.
I'm not going to bore you with wheel fitting instruction, but don't forget your Michelin tire valve caps. Isn't it quite funny that I have to disconnect my charger before firing her up? Seems like all cars these days need to charge their batteries.
I told you I had a surprise, and the big surprise is that I'm studded. Well, that's a surprise, isn't it? But I have studded. Take a look at this. This is a Zoom H5. I have studded it. I've support calls, and I know how to set it up to get a proper exhaust sound. But I then need some, well, it's not a proper car, is it? It's a GTS 4.0, and I still stand by my opinion. The engine does not match this chassis. And yes, if you then change the tires and the dampers, etc., yes, then the car will be perfect, a perfect Porsche. But taking the stock exhaust and then compare it to my CarGraphic X-Pipe with the CarGraphic muffler, and yeah, I have had so much difficulties to get everybody to understand the huge difference that we're talking about. It's a totally different sound character.
Pay attention. Remember, we have two things that needs to take under consideration: sound level and the valves. After 4000 RPM, stock closes the valves. Applying throttle release above 4000 RPM, you will hear it very, very clearly how difficult the valves have to follow the engine speed.
And this is just 4000 RPM, ladies and gentlemen. The problem the stock Spyder and GT4 4.0 have with the sound is the exhaust valve control. And with CarGraphics valve control, things changes. Remember, that's the first thing you need to do if you want to change your sound. Go to the valve control system, make sure you start where you should. Oh, sorry guys, I'm gonna try to be serious here, but for crying out loud, this is just too much when it comes to the sound. Coming back to my P104 SE from HRE Wheels, I'm so delighted. I'm sorry for repeating myself. I cannot stress enough how important it is to get the ET change on this vehicle from 61 to 50 and a half an inch wider. It really makes a difference in how the car turns in. It is I'm driving with two fingers. And let me give you a background story, because the gentleman driving the GTS 4.0, he really started to call me when he left, asking for advice. How should I then approach? How will I make a proper Porsche experience out of my GTS 4.0? Because stock, it's still a beautiful car to drive, but there is another dimension, ladies and gentlemen.
Someday you'll know. You already know what I'm going to say. I've been feeling this way for far too long.
Love for the art of driving. It's not about the show, money, or power. Passion, connection, and the ability to be a part of the road. That's what it's all about. Today, I sum the words into one name. The 718 Spyder.
Now you're gone.
Yesterday I drove my son to the basketball practice in my 992 Carrera S and nobody bothered. 70 minutes later I picked up my son with this, my 718 Spyder, and suddenly everybody's curiosity was towards me and my vehicle. This car looks so good. I get so many comments when I park this car, thumbs up, etc., which the 992 never provides for me in the same way. 136 991.2 GT3 is registered in Sweden, 94 Spyder. That makes this car much more unique than the previous GT3. Taking the 992 GT3 out of the equation, which I have not driven yet, this is truly the best Porsche that you could buy today. It is not the fastest by any mean, no question about that. That actually makes me think about, why do you option a Spyder with a PDK gearbox? That is, for me, well, the only thing I could consider is worse than option out this with a PDK gearbox is to option it out with comfort seat. Nevertheless, this is the best Porsche you can buy today. And if this is the best Porsche in the world, why are there so many for sale in Sweden at this point when this is recorded? Well, first off, many people buy this car thinking that it is like the previous Spyder, and a Boxster with better aerodynamic. This is a proper GT car, which makes this a much harder ride. It is a driver's tool only. It's not for the long terms at all. That's not this chassis. That's where you need to go to the 2.5 GTS if you want, driving long trips on vacations, etc. This is a track tool or B-road tool. Second of all, you have to remember that this is an allocation car, and well, if you follow the Porsche, new cars are introduced, and well, the owners then that have the possibility to get allocation, they sell their cars. That's the second thing. And the third thing is also that not everybody has the knowledge to do the changes necessary. Talking about the sound, hashtag get the proper sound in your GTS 4.0. That's very important because you cannot live with it stock. I agree, I'm not going to change that, and not everybody are able to change their vehicle and have the knowledge to change it. That's why people start to sell them. I've been driving Porsche since I was 19 years old, and ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the best cars I have ever owned. When you add something to your vehicle that enhances the performance, such as the HRE Wheels going that ET50, well, for me at least, it becomes extremely beautiful. Adding the possibility to change color on your wheels, well, that adds to the overall experience using HRE Wheels. I must admit that I'm waiting to see if I'm going to get an allocation on the 992 GT3, but I'm not sure I will be able to sell this car. I'm currently doing a lot of math calculating to see if I can keep this car and add the 992 GT3 to my garage. If you have not tested the Michelin PS4S on B-Road drive, please do. From my perspective, that's one of the best B-Road tires, and they really add something to your overall experience on B-Roads. This car. This is a GT car, and I'm going to repeat myself in that question. Remember the previous, why am I talking about things that I should talk about later on in this video? I mean, when I drive the vehicle, that's when I'm going to say that the previous version of the Spyder was just a Boxster with some aerodynamics. This one, proper GT car, ladies and gentlemen. And let's take this once again. Ja men okej, vi kör lite svensk bonusmaterial. Det känns lite läskigt att tala svenska faktiskt. Jag är faktiskt absolut inte van med det. Jag kanske behåller den. Det kan bli så att jag, om jag nu får en allokering till 992 GT3, att jag faktiskt behåller den här bilen också, för att det här är en av de bästa Porsche jag har ägt. Jag började när jag var 19 år. Det här är fortfarande en av de absolut bästa och jag blir helt sönderstressad bara på tanken att behöva sälja den. Så enkelt är det. Jag tänker inte lägga någon annan version på historien än så. Tänk om man säljer den här bilen och sen så trivs man inte i 992 GT3, hur nu 17 man ska göra det. Men den förra GT3 var ett monster att köra, på riktigt ett monster. Och bilarna idag är mycket snabbare än förarna själva. Jag menar, du måste vara Damon Hill om du ska liksom på riktigt reda ut bilarna till dess maximum. Och köra på landsvägarna, ja, men det är ju bara att glömma. Du kommer aldrig upp i hastigheter som är relevanta för det, utan det är liksom, ja. Och den här bilen är liksom, jag önskar att någon kunde förstå vad som händer när du har ökat ethet, och jag kan liksom sitta så här med bilen och fintuna den med 2 fingrar. Det är liksom, det är något alldeles extra.